everybody? It's your favorite stress marks, favorite nerd. Today we are looking at the Iron Factory Onslaught. This is on loan to me from Robert D, as is most Legends releases. And this one has a couple issues. We're not going to show all of the transformation process because of those issues, but we will talk about the figure and then how those issues relate to the figure. So stand by, stay with me, and let's get started. So he comes with this firearm, which he can hold just fine. This piece can rotate down and tab in. We'll show that in a bit. This piece can fold back or up. If you fold it back, you can move the barrel up and then collapse all of it down. And it has nice purple paint inside there that's done fairly clean and well. And the rest of it is just sculpt work on black plastic. He comes with kind of the signature Bruticus sort of turrets here that go behind him in combine mode. They plug in there. We got purple translucent plastic, and you got hinges here where they both can articulate on a swivel. And then the rest is just gray plastic, and it has like that sparkly, like metallic fleck finish, so that looks good. You have these two pieces which can be used in conjunction with other pieces from the set. They also can tab into one another. And you have a nice silver finish, and then that gunmetal finish here and there. Just making sure there's no stress marks because I have seen some through the set. But he comes with these. He comes with this, which is his crotch plate. You got silver paint. You got gunmetal finish on there. All that stuff looks great. And obviously it plugs in there with the purple translucent, and these will be the hip skirts, which should theoretically move out of the way to allow for some articulation. You have his chest and headpiece. Now, these wings fold out. We have silver... Oh, God, that's tight. Silver finish, gunmetal paint on there. We have purple translucent. We have this piece that folds down and has the head. The head itself, so one of the instructions, let me see if I can't find it for you real quick. So on this piece here, it shows to pull the antennas down, right? They're in a standing up position, and then you fold them down. And he said when he did that, it destroyed one of them. So as long as they don't get messed with again, they should be fine, but it may affect how we look at this for review purposes. But it does have a nice, it looks like a translucent purple for the eyes, which I think is a dumb choice because it's not light piping, or maybe it is. Maybe light can get in there. No, it's not. So it's just sort of dead. And lastly, you have this piece, which is his back plate, and it's just the turquoise plastic and the black plastic. Nothing really to write home about, and we'll talk about what we can as we go through it. So let's talk about the figure. The head is on a ball peg. It's a very small, shallow ball peg, so you don't get much movement out of it, but you do get a little up. You can get a little down as well. I know I did that backwards. And then you get the swivel as well. You have silver paint on the mouthpiece and then red paint on the eyes, and that looks good. For the chest, we have, I'm guessing this is a separate piece. Has to be, right? I know this piece moves forward. Let me see. Okay, so yeah, this is a separate piece in this turquoise plastic, and then we have the silver and gold paint painted there, silver paint down here in the abdomen and on the hips, and the same silver paint on the shoulders, and then we have a little bit of that olive green there on the lower legs. So you do get a waist swivel. If you take his guns, which are back here, if you want to have them up, you can. If you want to have them down, you can. It's whatever you want to do. Let's go with the up for now. So you get the waist swivel. That works fine. Ball peg for the shoulder that comes out to a ball joint here where the actual connection is. But it does hinge, so you can get the arm all the way up. You can bring it down. You can get it out to the side. You can spin it around. No problems. You got a little bit of swivel there at the ball peg for a bit of a butterfly joint technically. And you have a bicep swivel on top of that. So you should be able to get everything you need articulation-wise right out of there. We have a double jointed elbow, mainly for transformation, but it gets you the full range, so who cares? We have a wrist swivel, that works fine. A little bit more silver paint there on the side. Same for this side. For the hips, T-jointed ball pegs. Oh no, they're not. You know what they say about assumptions? They're actually universal joints. So you get the full Van Damme, and they're soft ratcheted forward and back, but you only really get the back to there. Forward you get almost all the way forward. Knees on a single hinge. Right? Yeah. Very limited, but I wonder if you bring this piece all the way down, yeah, then you can get it almost 90 degrees, so I think that's fair. And who knows, that may be the way it's supposed to be intended, actually. Or you can have it, I guess, up for a cleaner look, but it doesn't really bother me either way, so that's fine. A little bit of blue paint there on the side of the windows. We'll talk about that a little bit more in truck mode. The feet are on ball pegs connected to a hinge, so you can get an ankle tilt up a little bit down, and a little bit of a rocker using the ball peg. So for a Legends class figure, I think that that's ultimately kind of fine. Everything sort of operates at a very fine level here, with the exception of the arms, which are done really quite well. A little bit more thought seems to be involved in them. And then here he is from the back. Size comparison wise, there he is, the Iron Factory Blaster and the Hasbro Legends figure that we use all the time. You know, I've said this before, but I feel like the Iron Factory figures are getting bigger. I'm not saying that's a problem, I'm just saying it might throw a monkey wrench in your scale. Now, obviously, if you're going with this for combine mode, it won't be an issue, but I feel like it's something worth noticing. And in another choice of incorrect word usage, also noting. So let's get him transformed. Flip the head flap up, chest flap down. That will allow you to tuck the head in, flip the chest back up. Using your double jointed elbows there, you want to reach those around for the full range. And then we're going to take those and collapse them up. And tab them together. For the feet, we're going to fold these up. We're going to combine them. There is a stress mark, a significant one right there on that peg, and there's, you know, in between that and then the one that's on the antennas, just be very careful with this set. Fold those down, this piece up, this piece up, these pieces around, and these pieces around. And then you can articulate your cannons. So, you know, not the prettiest truck in the world, but there she is. This piece can also tab into the top here when it's in truck mode for a little bit of a, you know, heavier arsenal. And you still got these that can articulate underneath, so that's pretty cool. Now, for this piece, you want to straighten out these tires here. I've already done this side, and once again, like, be careful. There's a lot of torque that you can get on these. And then fold these pieces back around so that they're flush. Good grief. And then take this piece, open it up. This is a really tight connection here and here. I've already loosened it on this one for the sake of the video. Fold these down. And then unfortunately, in order to get this to work, this has to slide up in here, and it's such a tight little fit that you just feel like you're rubbing it against the paint, but I haven't noticed any rub. But here's part of the trailer. And then you take this piece, you want to have this folded, you want to have these antenna collapse, but I am not touching them because they're already so kind of damaged. So we're going to have this, the wings are collapsed upside down, this pegs in to that little square there. And then, yeah, I don't want to mess with it. So I'll just show you lightly. And then this here plugs in to there. And then there's other pieces like the foot pieces and stuff that can all kind of become attached to this. But if you have this all kind of sorted out, you know, the wheels will line up, and this connects to the other piece. And there you have it. But I'm not, it's too fragile. It's too fragile to kind of really get into, so we're just going to look at this. So here it is. It rolls. I think it kind of fits in the kind of Iron Factory aesthetic. These obviously articulate, the guns articulate, little silver paneling and stuff on the sides. I think it's fairly well done. You know, it's nothing to write home about, but I think for what it is, that it all kind of works. You can put in this gun. Actually, you can probably put it back here in the center. You know, and then have him really armed up, and that doesn't even look terrible, honestly. So, yeah, I think all in all, it's pretty cool. I guess we should show him next to you-know-who. And there he is next to Tiger Trent. I'm going to fix him. For combine mode, we're just going to undo the flaps, undo the arms. We want the wheels on top, and then that peg will peg into the side of the body. And then these guys here will split apart, go out to the side, and then you can see where it ratchets down there. It's like a soft ratchet. We'll extend that. So let's extend it. There we go. And then we're going to set that to the side. Then for this piece, you want to rotate the armatures that hold the wheels up and then fold the wheels down. For this piece, you just want to flip the head back and flip the wings back. And then for this piece, we'll start as we had it initially, and you just want to fold this down on top of itself so that that's nice and flush there. So you have these pieces left. So you take this and this, make sure that these black pieces are out. We didn't talk about that. These black pieces, they just fold around. They're a little tricky too. Take your guns and fold them down. This comes over top, and you use that port and that plug. This piece, using this tab there and that port. It's just a matter of seeing it. And then this will also tab into the shoulders. I may have to clean that out because I can't see it. There we go, there's one. There's the other. And then these two pieces go in around the peg, and then this, the universal joints, and then this piece tabs in directly to the crotch. And then on the back, you can take your standard Bruticus guns and plug them in there. And there he is. And I think it's really well done. Like, and the combine mode looks great. Like, I think it's going to have a strong presence, you know, on your shelf. I think it's going to look cool. There's as a heads up, we're not going over it because, but right there is the connector port. And if you can flip that out and around to tap into the legs. I think when Robert sends me these back to do the combine mode review, he's just going to send it to me in combine mode because we've had some kind of fragile issues with him along the way, which is a bummer because outside of those fragile, I'm a mess today. Outside of those few issues, it's really kind of cool looking. You know, you're gonna have the waist swivel in there. All of the connector joints are really solid. So I have a feeling that this is gonna shape up quite well. You know, you just have to be careful of its kind of limitations. But yeah, pretty well done. Final thoughts wise, it's not the most elegant of figures. Like it's kind of clunky and problematic, and there's stress marks and there's issues with things moving smoothly, and as a result possibly causing some breakage. So that's really where this thing ends up falling short. The positives wise though is that the Bruticus is looking really impressive. I honestly have to admit that it looks like it's going to be an amazing combiner. It's hard to say until you really have it rocking and rolling. Rocking and rolling, but it seems as though it's headed that way. I have a very optimistic feel about it. That much I'll say. But in terms of kind of this guy as a standalone, I mean, the presence is kind of there. I think it works as an IDW styled figure. It definitely seems like Onslaught. Articulation is fair. The shoulders are impressive. The legs are kind of clunky, but everything else sort of works as it should. And it's a Legends class figure, so I tend to give him a bit of a break. That being said, hope that helps you make a decision regarding him. I can't obviously tell you how the Bruticus shapes up, but I can tell you it's looking pretty good so far. Thanks for listening. Thanks for watching. Until next time, take care. So my buddy Robert lends me a lot of figures to take a look at for the channel, and I greatly appreciate it. And I take excellent care of them. And as you guys have seen, sometimes I won't push things to their limits when something doesn't belong to me as to not damage it. I assume that it works properly even if I don't do that so that I don't end up criticizing the figure for something that I'm not sure about. I say that to say this. He lent me that MMC Ocular Max Cosmos. I ended up going to a party where I was supposed to give it to T2RX6, who's also on YouTube, to do a review of. T2RX6 ended up getting snowed in where he was, so he didn't make it to the party, so it ended up staying at the party. Another gentleman who I'll let remain nameless, but you probably know him if you're in the kind of community. He asked if he could take a look at it, I'm sure, and I probably said yes. I was drinking, and I said, yeah, go ahead. And he was eating food and supposedly got grease and tomato sauce on the figure. I don't know. I don't know if that's all true. There is some evidence of that on the instructions, but yeah. So Robert he wasn't upset that it got broken. It also got broken. I'm not sure if I mentioned that, but it's become kind of a running gag about the food situation. So for instance, he most recently made a comment on Nerd Rage saying that he was going to come down to Maryland and put his greasy paws all over some skull figures. He also has sent such text messages as, treat your toys like you treat your Caesar salads, sauce on the side. He also said, dude, I have a guy who's just a phone call away who is just a short trip from your front door. His hands are covered in tomato sauce and they are itching to break some toys. The guilty individual here is it's driving distance from my house. He's talking about that individual, I'm sure. So then, just recently, I got the Onslaught, and I texted him to let him know, look, the figure has been reviewed and safely returned to packaging, etc., etc. So he sent me this audio clip.
Onslaught of spaghetti, all covered with cheese. I broke my poor Onslaught when Bobby B sneezed.